Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Today, inshallah, we will have a very nice lecture, so easy to understand, about financial planning using the additional fund needed, AFN. Financial planning means what? It means if our sales increase, in this case, we have to buy a new assets. So you need money to buy these assets. Our lecture today, if our sales increase, how much money we need from external to finance this increase on assets. So today, inshallah, we will try to explain this one by using a very simple example. Okay. Assume this is the balance sheet of the company before increasing the assets, the sales. So the balance sheet contains cash, account receivable, inventory, those the current assets. And we have a fixed assets, so this is the total assets. This is the short-term liabilities and long-term debt or liabilities, and this is the common stocks equity and retained earning. So this is the total liabilities and equity. They said what? Our sales now is $1,000, 1,000, 1 million, whatever. Okay, and sales are expected to be 1,250, which means it's going to increase by 25% in 2021. And if the company profit margin is 6% and the dividend payout ratio 40%, and they expect it to remain constant. So there is no change about the profit margin and payout dividend ratio. The required, we need to calculate how much money we need to finance the increasing in our sales. Assuming what? Assuming that our fixed assets fully utilized. In this case, we have a very simple equation to apply, which is this one. The external fund needed or additional fund needed equal what? Equal the increase in assets. We need to calculate how much our asset is going to be increased. We have to deduct from the increase of assets because you don't need to borrow from outside the whole value. You have to deduct what? You have to deduct the spontaneous increase in liabilities, which means الزيادة التلقائية في جانب الخصوم minus the increase on retained earning. Because if you have a profit and we know that we are going to distribute dividends only 40%, it means that we have a retained earning and you retain the earning. So much be deducted. Okay. So our equation contains three parts. Increase in assets, increase in liabilities, increase in retained earning. How can we calculate the increase in assets? So this is the equation, must be memorized. Additional fund needed equal the assets as a percentage from all the sales multiply by delta sales. What is delta sales? New sales minus old sales. This is minus the liabilities is going to increase automatically by increasing the sales as a percentage from old sales. This is multiplied also by a change on sales. Let me finish this one first. Okay, finish the equation. Minus this part represent the increase on retained earning. How can I calculate it? By profit margin multiplied by the new sales multiplied by retention ratio, or 1 minus dividends ratio. Okay. For what type of asset is going to increase? We have to go back to our balance sheet. Normally, the asset is going to increase by increasing sales all current assets. This one, cash, is going to increase, account receivable is going to increase, inventory is going to increase. Fixed asset is going to increase by increasing sales. This is depend on by how much, what is the percentage of using the fixed assets. In our example, we assume that the fixed asset is fully utilized, which means we use our fixed asset by 100%. In this case, if we are going to increase the sales, we have to increase also the fixed asset. So in our example, all assets is going to increase by increasing the sales. Okay. For the liabilities, which liability is going to increase by increasing the assets? We have only two types of liabilities. Normally, it is increased by increasing on sales, which is accounts payable and accruals. Only these two items is going to increase. So, to solve this equation, I highly recommend to prepare another balance sheet for calculating the ratio of A divided by S naught, and another one, the same balance sheet, to calculate the ratio of L divided by S naught. Exactly like this one. This one. And this one, cash is going to increase, so the percentage of cash as a percentage from the old sales, 15 divided by 1,000, equal 1.5% or 0.015. Account receivable, 35 divided by old sale 1,000, give us 3.5%. Inventory, 75 divided by 1,000, give us 7.5% or 0.075. As I mentioned, because our fixed assets fully utilized, so in this case also our fixed asset is going to change, so it will be 375 divided by 1,000, so it's equal 37.5. So the summation of the value of the percentage A as a percentage from S naught equal 50%. So this one, A divided by S naught equal how much? Equal 50%. As we mentioned, that we have only two accounts. They can change automatically by increasing the sales, which is what? Accounts payable, 15 divided by 1,000, it's 1.5% or 0.015, and accruals, 35 divided by all sales, which is 1,000 also, so it will be 3.5% or 0.035, which represent how much? 5%. Okay, please, don't mix between 50%, this is not balance sheet. So this is not much must equal this one, no. This is the percentage of asset is going to increase by increasing the sales. And this is the percentage of liabilities is going to increase by increasing the sales. So never will be equal, or no need to be equal. This is 50 and this is justified. Now we can apply our equation. Our equation, it will be what? This one, okay. Remember delta sales, which equal new sales minus old sales. Delta sales, new sales S1 minus S0. So 1,250 minus 1,000 equal 250. This is delta sales. Okay. Now we can apply our equation. A divided by S0, we calculate it equal 50%. Multiply delta sales, which is 250, minus L, which is liability as a percentage from S0, we calculate it equal 5%, so this is a 5%. Multiply delta sales, we calculated 250, minus, please don't forget, minus profit margin, M, multiply S1, which is 1,250, minus retention ratio, or 1 minus dividends ratio. Multiplying 50% multiply 250 equal 125. Please don't forget, according to this equation, this is by how much we are going to increase our asset. We have to increase our total asset by 125. And by how much we will get automatically increase in our liabilities, it is 12.5. And by how much our retained earning is going to increase by 45. So we have additional fund needed equal positive 67.5. This means if our sales is going to increase from 1,000 to 1,250, we have to increase our assets by 125. Should I borrow the whole amount 125? No. Why? Because you have a part from your liabilities is going to increase automatically. By how much? By 12.5. Please don't forget. You have to increase your assets must be increased by 125. Should I borrow all this amount? No. Why? Because your liabilities is going to increase by 12.5. So, no need to borrow all those. You can, the whole amount you need to increase or to support the increase in your sales is 112.5. Should I borrow this amount also? No. Why? Because you have a retained earning, new retained earning, you will get by 45. So, in this case, the additional fund needed, it will be the difference between this one, which is the total amount needed, minus this one, which is 67.5. So this is the additional fund needed. And this is the total, but I'm not going to borrow the whole amount, which is 112.5. Again, our equation contains three parts. our increase in assets, our increase in liabilities, our increase in retained earnings. This is the three part on our equation. Now, if I asked you that we need to prepare a new balance sheet for 2021, how it will be? If we are going to prepare a new balance sheet, all what you need is what? You have to take the percentage, which is the change, and multiply it by the new sales. From where it gets the equation? Okay, let me explain it to you quickly. Okay. Okay. Remember, for the first one, we have cash equal 15 when the sales equal 1,000. How much cash we need if the sales will be 1,250? Using the gross, so the new cash equal what? The new cash we need equal 15 multiplied by 1,250 divided by 1,000. We have this one before. This one, which is 0.15 multiply 1,200, give me the right. So what I have to do, or what I have to do for the rest of asset, you can use the percentage which we calculate before and multiply it by the new asset. This is exactly what we did here. We use the same ratio we calculate before. Remember, just to remind you, this is what we did. Remember when we calculate these ratios? I will take this ratio, multiply the new sales to give me the new total assets. And here I will take only those multiplied by the new sales, and the rest, it must be remain the same. Exactly, this is what we did. Exactly, this is what happened. 1.5% multiply 1,250 equal 18.75. This one, the new account receivable increased. The inventory, the percentage for the new multiply new asset. This is the new inventory. Fixed asset, because we mentioned at the beginning that our fixed asset is fully utilized, so مستخدمة بالكامل, so must multiply this value by this value, so this is the value of the new assets. Summation of those, this is the new total assets, 600 to 225. Because this is a balance sheet, so 625 must be as a total liabilities and equity. This must equal this one. Okay. Those two accounts must be changed automatically. So we have to use the ratio 1.5 multiply 1,250. So this is the new account payable. And the accruals will also increase. So this is the new accruals. The remaining item must be the same. Long-term debt, it didn't change, 150 from the beginning. Common equity, he didn't mention that we are going to issue shares. Okay, so this is the value of common equity. Retained earning, it was 175, but please don't forget that, remember when we wrote here, that we have a new retained earning equal 45, so must be added to this one. Summation, it is not 625, Oh, so the remainder, which is 67.5, equal exactly the additional fund you get. Okay? You have to recognize what? You have to recognize, please highly concentrate if you need to check your work, are you right or not? This is the old balance sheet. Old balance sheet, it was 500. The new one, 625, which increased by how much? Yes, increased by 125, which is what? With the value of increasing in assets. Perfect. Again, you have, so this one will be 625 and this one also will be 625. Those is going to change. This, it will not change because he didn't told me that we are going to take a long-term loan, not to change. This one not to change. Retained earning, it was 175. Now, don't forget from the equation, our retained earning is going to increase by 45. So this one will be 175 plus 45. And unfortunately, we still, this one not equal, this summation not equal 625. So the remaining is additional fund need. Okay. Now, you know, our next lecture, inshallah, we will talk about what? From where we have to get this amount of money. Should we get this one by taking loan, which means issue bond, or by issue shares, yeah, which means ask another partner, sharik, to come with us. So next lecture, inshallah, we will talk about from where we have to get the additional fund. Should we get it as a debt or as an equity? Okay? Last thing we have to explain in this one. If no one is going to give me this additional fund needed, so in this case, by how much our sales can increase without need any external funding. Perfect, this question. In this case, all what you have to do, you have to make this equation equal how much? Equal 0. Because now I asked you, our sales, which is 1,000, it has to be increased by how much? And in this case, we don't need any external fund. So I have to make this equation equal 0. My problem now, what is the value of S1? So in this case, we cannot solve this equation because it has two unknown, which is delta S and S1. We have to transfer one to another. So the easy way to transfer delta S to be S1 minus S0. Delta S, S1 minus S0, and this is S1. So we have one equation and it has only one unknown. Okay? And the must equal 0. I use the same everything. So A divided by S0, which represent the asset, the percentage of asset is going to change by increasing the sales. We calculated before 50%. So 50% multiply S1 minus 1,000 minus L divided by S0. We calculated before 5% multiply by S1 minus 1,000 minus, highly concentrated, minus what? Minus 60%, which is the profit margin, multiply S1, we don't know S1, multiply 1 minus the dividends ratio, which is equal 40%. By solving the equation, normally, as a student, please don't forget, I have to multiply 50 multiply S1, it will be 50% S1. And 50% multiply 1,000, it will be 500. Minus what? Minus 5% multiply S1, it will be minus 5% S1. Minus 5% multiply minus 1,000, it will be positive 50. Highly concentrate because most of you, they forget to put this positive, they put it minus. Minus what? Minus 0.06 multiply 0.60, because 1 minus 0.40 is 0.60. 60% multiply 60%, 60%, it gives me 0.036 multiply S1. So by solving this one, I will get that S1 equal 1,087. What does it mean this for you? It means if our sales increased from 1,000 to be 1,087, we don't need any external fund. We have sufficient internal fund to cover the total fund need. Is that okay? So if your sales increase than 1,087, you will need to get external fund. If it is increased by lower than 1,087, you don't need at all. And if exactly 1,087, your external fund needed will be how much? Equals. Okay? This is very important and so easy to use by the small business. For your colleague, they have SMS or any entrepreneur, he need to know how much is the fund I need if my sales increase from what to what. Okay, thank you.